Okay, here we go. Last chapter for today, for this week. And I hope it's a good one. Chapter 8, The Hospital Roof. The stairs were steep. When Ben reached the 7th floor, his legs felt as if they had turned to stone. This is like climbing a mountain, he complained. Pearl, eager to get to the roof, scrambled up each flight as nimble as a monkey, the bucket swinging from her hand. When Ben finally caught up, she was standing on the last landing. "Floor 10, she whispered. Ben leaned the shovel against the wall. "Don't you think about it," he said, grasping for breath. He pointed to a sign that was tacked to the door. "Floor 10, off limits. Do not enter. Stay out. This means you." Pearl pushed some wisps of blonde hair from her eyes. "Oh, come on, Ben. Just a little peek. What harm could that do?" "What harm?" he said with a wheezy breath. "You still want to keep this apprenticeship, don't you? Breaking another rule won't help, that's for sure." "Ah, drat, I think you're right," she said, stepping away from the door. "I told Victoria about the dragon, and I shouldn't do anything else that might cause trouble." She patted Ben's shoulders. "Thanks for helping me remember the rules, Ben." Ben wasn't sure she needed help remembering, but she certainly needed help following. There were 9 steps remaining, and they led to the metal door. Pearl pressed down on the handle, as when the door swung open, fresh air streamed in, cooling Ben's sweaty face. But it didn't cool his nerves, which were still sizzling with worry. Without hesitation, Pearl stepped out into the roof. Ben stayed in the doorway, his gaze searching for anything big and black and fire-breathing. "The dragon's not here," Pearl reported. "Come on, you can come out." Phew! Ben's relief was followed by a twinge of embarrassment. How could Pearl be so brave? The roof of the old button factory was flat and surrounded by a tall ledge. Dozens of chimneys poked up here and there. The south side looked out over the gravel driveway and the padlocked gate. Buttonville's clock tower rose in the distance. The north side offered a view of Button Lake and the surrounding forest. Morning sunlight glimmered on the lake's surface, but there was no sign of the lonely lake monster they had met just this past Monday. Ben stiffened and then looked down. A large glob sat at his feet. It looked like slightly squished chocolate cupcake, only there were a few feathers and even some tiny bones sticking out of it. "I think I found the dragon droppings," he said. "Yuck," Pearl said, setting the bucket next to it. "Looks like he's been eating pigeons." Ben scooped the droppings with the shovel and then plopped it into the bucket. "You keep watch while I clean," he told Pearl, since there was only one shovel. "Warn me if you see the dragon flying this way." "Okay." She shielded her eyes with her hands and looked into the sky. Things weren't so bad. At least the droppings weren't gooey, and they didn't smell half as disgusting as the Sasquatch. Ben found 2 more, each full of feathers and bones. If the dragon had been eating people, Ben expected there would be zippers and shoelaces and jewelry also in the poop. Unfortunately, there were no signs of such items. Moving quickly, he made his way around the chimney, and soon the bucket was full. Mr. Tabby said something about proper disposal. What do you think he was talking about? What are we supposed to do? "Well, we can't just carry that stuff downstairs," Pearl said. "How gross." She grabbed the bucket, and before Ben could stop her, she dumped the contents over the east wall. The grass below had grown into a weed-infested field, and the droppings disappeared among all the tall blades. "Well, why'd you do that?" Ben asked. "Now it's fertilizer," said Pearl with a smile. "That seems like proper disposal to me." Ben shrugged. It kind of was a clever idea. but he had a nagging suspicion that Mr. Tabby would have a different opinion. There was one last part of the roof to clean. Hoping with all his heart to finish before the dragon returned, Ben hurried around the largest chimney and then skidded to a stop. Pearl? She was at his side in a heartbeat. Whoa! What is that? They both stared, slack-jawed at the mess sitting before them. It was a giant pile of stuff, and all the stuff was made from metal. Ben had to squint because the object shone in the sunlight. I see a hubcap and a mailbox and a spatula, he said as he walked around the pile. There's a bunch of forks and a doorknob, and hey, there's my grandfather's toaster. Look, there's the clock hand from the town hall. Just as Ben was about to grab the toaster, a shadow swept across the pile. Uh-oh. A very large shadow. And it flew right at them. Run! Pearl, who had been brave up until that very moment, dropped the bucket and bolted across the roof. Ben, who didn't care about being brave, who just cared a great deal about not getting eaten, dropped the shovel as fast as he could. A thunderous sound followed as the dragon's wings beat in the air above their heads. Go, 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 Ben's brain hollered. 2 more chimneys and then the door. Run, run, run! Swoosh! A gust of air blew past Ben and a loud thump was followed by the clattering of chimney tiles. The dragon had landed, and it stood right above the exit. Dun, dun, dun.